Welcome to this explainer. Today, we're diving into a strategy that is literally changing the game for home service contractors. We're going to break down exactly how plumbing businesses can finally stop fighting over the exact same shared leads and instead take total control by buying exclusive inbound phone calls. Look, if you've ever felt that absolute frustration of paying for a lead only to lose it to a competitor who just happened to call 30 seconds faster, well, you're going to want to hear this. Let's just jump right in.
So put yourself in the shoes of a local plumber for a second. Would you rather compete with 5 other companies for a single customer, just fighting tooth and nail in this chaotic bidding war? Or would you rather be the absolute only company that gets the call? I mean, it sounds like a totally obvious choice, right? But the reality is, most businesses right now are completely trapped in that first scenario.
And to understand why this matters so much, we really need to picture the reality of the customer. Imagine this. A homeowner suddenly hears that terrifying sound of rushing water. They run in, and what do they find? A burst pipe and a completely flooded kitchen. Total panic sets in. In that moment of pure desperation, they don't have the time or the patience, really, to compare 10 different plumbers. They just need someone to answer the phone right now and say, hey, we're on our way.
But instead, they usually stumble into what's known in the industry as the shared lead trap. Let's walk through the reality of this. So a stressed homeowner needs a plumber, right? They fill out a generic lead form online. Seconds later, multiple plumbing companies get that exact same lead. And what happens next? Absolute chaos. Everyone starts calling at the exact same time. The poor homeowner gets completely overwhelmed by this barrage of calls. Some contractors never even reach them, and the ones who actually do connect, well, they usually end up having to slash their prices just to win the job. In this scenario, nobody really wins, especially not the plumber who just threw away hard-earned money for a lead they couldn't even convert.
See, there's a fundamental reality about the plumbing industry that we just have to acknowledge. Most plumbing calls, they're completely unplanned. People don't just wake up on a random Tuesday and cheerfully decide, you know what, today I'm going to replace my water heater. No, it's usually because a crisis just hit. A burst pipe, a leaking ceiling, a completely clogged drain, a broken sewer line, or waking up to zero hot water or a flooded basement. The customer needs help, and they need it immediately. This is an emergency business through and through.
And because it's an emergency business, speed matters more than almost anything else. Since the customer is literally just looking for immediate rescue, the very first direct, helpful contact almost always wins the job. They're not shopping around for fun, they just want the problem solved now. So contrast the sheer chaos of those shared leads with the incredible, focused opportunity of exclusive calls. On one hand, shared leads give you this brutal race to the bottom, price wars, and incredibly overwhelmed customers. But on the other hand, with exclusive calls, the call goes directly to one plumbing company. Just one phone call. One conversation, one solid opportunity to earn the business. There's no race, no stressing over who called first, and definitely no immediate price war. Your team can just focus entirely on actually helping the customer instead of just chasing the competition.
And another massive advantage of this exclusive pay-per-call model is the geographic precision. Think about areas like Miami, Fort Lauderdale, Hollywood, and Boca Raton. Let's say you only service those specific locations. Why on earth would you pay for a phone call from someone way outside your service area? You absolutely shouldn't. With a proper exclusive call setup, you get to choose your specific zip codes, your cities, your counties, your exact service radius. You only receive calls from the exact areas you actually want to serve. But the control doesn't even stop with geography. This system is incredibly user-friendly and super powerful. Step 1, like we just said, choose your zip codes. Step 2, set your specific business hours so you're only getting calls when someone is actually there to answer the phone. And step 3, and this is a real game changer, you can literally toggle your demand on or off. Seriously, let's say your techs are completely booked up this week. Boom, you just pause the campaign. Need more work next week? Turn it right back on. Need more drain cleaning calls, but maybe fewer water heater installations? You can dial those specific campaigns up or down. You're controlling your demand instead of just passively crossing your fingers and hoping more people stumble onto your website. Now, there is a pretty massive mindset shift required here. You have to remember, you are not buying clicks, you are buying phone conversations. You're not paying for vanity traffic or website impressions that might go nowhere. You're paying for a live, real-time connection with a person who desperately needs plumbing services right now. Because that is where real business happens. That's where appointments actually get scheduled, where immediate questions get answered, and where real trust gets built. True revenue always starts with an actual conversation.
Okay, let's be absolutely clear on how this fits into the bigger picture.
Exclusive calls shouldn't just replace your entire marketing strategy. The smartest plumbing companies out there, they don't put all their eggs in one basket. They diversify. They're running Google Ads, optimizing their SEO, managing their Google business profile, and actively generating word-of-mouth referrals. Those channels absolutely work. The key here is that they're using pay-per-call as this incredibly powerful, predictable layer on top of that diversified strategy. That way, if an algorithm randomly changes or one marketing channel suddenly dries up, the phone just keeps right on ringing.
Let's anchor this abstract idea of ROI to a concrete number, just to really drive the point home. Imagine your average plumbing job brings in about $800. Sure, some jobs are a quick $300 fix, while others might be a massive $5,000 repair. But let's just stick with that $800 average. If winning just one exclusive, inbound conversation turns into one solid, profitable job of $800, well, how much is that initial phone call really worth to you? Successful plumbing companies don't just look at the upfront cost of a lead. They focus heavily on the return that specific lead generates. That is how smart businesses evaluate their marketing spend.
So you're probably wondering, how do you actually implement all this? Well, this brings us to Exclusive Live Calls. Exclusive Live Calls is the definitive platform designed specifically to help you stop bidding against other contractors. Instead, they route highly qualified, exclusive inbound plumbing calls directly to your business.
Over at exclusivelivecalls.com, plumbing companies can actually build campaigns around exactly what they need. You target the specific cities and zip codes you want, you set your business hours, you control your daily budget, and you can even implement call caps based entirely on what your team can handle. It basically strips away all the headache of managing complicated advertising campaigns and simply acts as a super predictable source of new, exclusive customers.
Oh, and a super quick note for the marketing folks tuning in. If you run a marketing agency that serves plumbing companies, Exclusive Live Calls has a really cool solution for you too. You can actually ask them about their white label pay-per-call platform. What does that mean? It means you can offer this exact exclusive call engine to your own plumbing clients, completely under your own agency's brand. You bring the buyers and they handle all the heavy lifting. Pretty sweet deal. As we wrap up this explainer, I really want to leave you with the core philosophy behind everything we've talked about today. The goal here isn't simply to generate more leads. The goal is better opportunities. Opportunities where your team actually has a real, undisputed chance to win the customer. By removing that unnecessary cutthroat competition, plumbing companies can focus entirely on what they actually do best: helping homeowners solve their emergency problems as quickly as possible. Look, in an industry where speed, trust, and availability are quite literally everything, exclusivity makes all the difference in the world. Which leads us perfectly to this final, somewhat provocative thought. We've seen today just how powerful an exclusive conversation is compared to a generic shared lead. So, ask yourself this: what is the absolute biggest lie about buying leads? Does an overflowing inbox of shared leads actually mean more revenue, or does it just mean more headaches, more stress, and way lower margins? It's something every single contractor really needs to sit down and seriously evaluate. Thank you so much for joining me on this explainer. I really hope this totally changes how you view your inbound marketing strategy.